Welcome to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome once again to the most prestigious and acclaimed wrestling award since Joe Hendry and Nancy Bowens hooked up earlier this year. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and diddlers around the world. It is the third annual Culties.
Oh my God.
Third annual?
Third? Is it only done? Have we only done?
18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Did we do it in 18?
Did we do that?
We must have done.
I don't think we did the first year.
19,
19,
20,
it's
21.
the fourth.
Is this the fourth?
Did we really? Bollocks,
There's
again.
no,
Is it really the fourth?
we're flying now.
So prestigious, acclaimed.
there's been. I'm thinking.
Joe Hendry.
I'm thinking of the winners. There's been three. We've already done three
I
wrestlers of the
remember
year.
Ray Phoenix in
Phoenix
2018.
won.
That made us look really
Sheamus
clever.
won one.
Yeah.
And maybe Nick Jackson. I think Ross nominated Nick Jackson one year.
He lost that, yeah.
Well, Ospreay then. So we've had three, and then.
This is the fourth.
Yeah.
One day you'll see you're so
Prestigious.
By the way, that was me trying my best to be professional. Anyway, the Culties. The only wrestling awards that matter, I'm sure you'll agree.
Yeah.
Anyone with the balls to be ahead of the curve. Just saying, some of those previous winners are, your current favourites? Just saying. Jack, Ross, and myself as the
You're the judge.
decider.
Adjudicator.
I was going to say, is
Yeah.
that the right term? Yeah, the adjudicator. If this is your first time watching, first of all, where the bloody hell have you been? And second of all, the way it'll work is, Jack will submit an entry, and then Ross will also do so, and obviously we'll go back and forth,
We'll
vice and
alternate who goes
versa.
first, yeah.
And then I will decide what's going to be best for not just Cultaholic, but the world of wrestling.
Yeah.
And then we'll put them.
Not on there.
Prestigious. Well,
Post-edit.
yeah, exactly. Yes, thank you, Ross.
And
Show them how the sausage is made.
sometimes you also throw in a few recommendations of your own, and I always enjoy that bit because
Thank
sometimes
you,
you come
yes.
out of left field, and I'm like, "Whoa, I didn't think that
Yeah.
person." So yeah,
I'm like the guy in Pointless who goes, you could have also said
Richard
bread.
Osman. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Aye, cheers, pal.
bread. Yeah.
Now, Sally from Coronation Street.
Oh
Is
really?
he?
I was watching it the other week and she was in Richard's chair because
What?
Richard's left, hasn't he?
Sally
Aye, Sally from Coronation Street.
Webster.
Not Webster. The other that works in the Rovers.
Oh, aye.
Full
Yeah,
fringe.
yeah.
I think her shoot name's
Full
Sally.
fringe.
I think her shoot name's Sally. I can't remember her actual character.
Is that a rap name? You know what? I like Pointless, but not a lot of people do. So I might say to some people that it is an underrated game show.
Yes.
Which is not true at all.
Oh! Lean.
Click the button, please.
Click the button. Yeah.
How do they do it? That's right. We've flown the team from Avatar 2 to be here tonight. So, what we'll do is let us be reminded of previous winners, and then we'll go straight to start with Jack.
Cool.
Who's wearing a hat.
All right.
2021 winner for the first award of most underrated, Dax Harwood.
Okay.
I think still stand by that.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
a great. Yeah, it's a
What
great.
a lovely arc he went on between the arse end of last year and the middle of this year. Then.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The modern day Noah. So, Jack, who is your underrated pick for the Year of Our Lord 2022?
My underrated pick is from Impact Wrestling,
Oh, go on.
and it's a man named the current X Division champion, Trey Miguel. I've got reasons, don't worry. So at the start of 2021, that's when he re-signed with Impact, but his two stablemates went on to NXT, where they became MSK. So suddenly he was a singles guy, and he spent most of that year having a big feud with Sami Callihan, which he won. But then this year, he's actually spent much of it carrying the X Division and being the X Division champion. You never really hear his name get mentioned that much, but he is a great asset, in my opinion, to Impact Wrestling. Someone they really rely upon to have a good match with any given opponent at any given pay-per-view, against a variety of opponents as well. Bigger guys like Black Taurus and Steve Macklin, more experienced guys like Alex Shelley, pure baby faces like Speedball Mike Bailey, pure heels like Ace Austin, and I think he rises to match them each and every time. But recently, just the other week, a few weeks ago, he actually turned heel. So I'm excited to see in 2023, because I've never seen Trey Miguel as a heel, so I'm excited to see how he does. He did that to become the X Division champion again. So he's once again the X Division champion. So
That's
hope
a
for
nice
Trey
pick
Miguel.
for Impact Wrestling. We've had a stellar year that has gone
This is like Oscars
unnoticed
analysis.
by
This
many
is brilliant.
people.
This.
Isn't
It's
it
great.
I'm
yeah.
that little voice like I'm like Terry Wogan and think, oh, that was good. Yeah. Ross, who is your pick?
Well, I'll say this because I say it every single year when we do this award. There's a difference between underrated and underutilized. So I'm going down the road that you can be utilized but also underrated, which means I'm going for Chadwick Gable. More TV time than ever he's had this year, I would argue, where he's proved he's better than most of the wrestlers on the roster and proved he's a better talker than most of the wrestlers on the roster as well. However, he has won just 10 of 44 televised matches
he's come with stats.
this year's, and that's including main event appearances, by the way, where the wins don't even matter, do they? Who watches main event?
No.
Nobody. 5 of those 10 wins, by the way, happened before the 21st of February. He has lost 9 of his last 10 televised matches as both singles and tag team matches. We can all see how he is the Air 2000 Kurt Angle funny nerd who could rip your head off if he wanted to, come back to life. He should at the very least be in the US title picture on Raw, if not the main event title picture, because he is a bloody Olympian, didn't you just know?
I did know that.
And I'm just sick of seeing him being a glorified enhancement talent, making other people look better while also making himself look very good as well. I just think he should be higher up the card, and therefore that what makes him underrated.
Sorry, I was overcome with, yeah, damn right.
That is a very, very good analysis there, and you are quite right. I think he's the backbone. Him and Otis. Master Reader, the most important people on WWE Raw, because they've had the last few months, even of Triple H's comeback have been, I've got an idea, and bring back that lad from AEW or NXT or whatever they've been from, and that's been his go-to thing. And on Raw, typically, it's been like, well, how can we introduce this person? How can we let the audience know they're on that? Chad Gable and Otis are fantastic.
Yeah.
So that is a very good pick. However, underrated. They were the tag team champions this year, right? I'm on
Before
the check.
February the 21st, aye.
That's right. So
That was their purple patch.
right.
I've also got a point which could help Ross, but I think it's probably fair to say it anyway. You could argue they were just transitional champions between the two arcade.
And I would say shush, please. Thank you very much. But yeah, you are right. So on one hand, underrated, and they've won a title this year. But at the same time, Trey Miguel also.
won the titles as well.
So it's like, oh, damn if you do, damn if you don't. As much as I appreciate Trey Miguel's work, it is funny for us to go, oh yeah, you're really underrated. That show that we never pay attention to on the main awards. So I'm gonna go with War Lad Chad.
Fair.
War lad
He
Chad.
deserves it. He deserves
Yeah,
it.
both very good picks though. Mine. Like I said,
yes.
here we go.
Here we come.
I had Steve Macklin as one of them, but because I start off the year going, oh, that lad from the Forgotten whatever. And then I was like, oh my God, he can wrestle. Then I looked and saw he's not had a lot of matches this year. That's the reason I didn't go with him. QT Marshall was also on my list because a lot of these AEW Dark Elevation, etc. shows, it's Rampage, as Jim Ross calls them all, have had a lack of crowd enthusiasm and heat. Even with some of the big names you'd expect, they always come alive for QT Marshall, who I would argue is AEW's version of Chad Gable.
Yeah.
How dare
in a
you?
way.
Mustafa Ali, just because, look at him. Woof, you would, wouldn't you?
And he can do the wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
And he can do the promos.
No one cares about that. And Willow Nightingale, for being one of the many, many talents that AEW has that maybe they'll appreciate if they remember them. They exist. Full of charisma, full of ability, full of, again, crowd enthusiasm, which is lacking in certain parts of AEW. So I hope 2023 ends up being her year.
She could have a big year, yeah.
She could go one or two ways this year or next year. She could be most underrated next year, or she could be sort of wrestler of the year.
Yeah.
If they use her.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ugh. So, and I know that was the most underrated and the half-year winner.
I like the. Oh yeah, well, who was the half-year winner? Just
Half-year
we're going to just contrast who
I
we
was going
picked
to say, we
6
did
months
this
ago.
6
yeah.
months ago because a week is a long time in wrestling, as the news every week on the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast is any evidence for. Most underrated, Angelo Dawkins.
He stepped up.
Yeah,
He
he's
stepped
kept it. Even though he had a bit of a gap in the second half of the year, he's kept it up.
Yeah,
hasn't he?
since
I was like, he was hurt, wasn't he? Like,
I don't know. They were just missing,
I
weren't
thought
they?
they were both hurt, like
they
on
had
and
that
off.
really good match with the Usos, and everyone thought they were going to turn on each other, and then they didn't. And then
Yeah, because Triple H came in and went, like Chris Tarrant, but we're not going to give you that. And I'm glad they didn't. So, now move on to the next award. The most
he's on it.
improved.
yes,
Whoa.
I think Joel is the most improved with that transition.
Oh, exactly. Well done, Joel.
Yeah.
He's learning fast.
Yeah.
Just as well. Most improved last year, Tay Conti.
Oh,
Tay,
things of
Tay. Oops.
Ty, yeah.
Yeah.
Ty Conti, yeah.
Ty Mello. Now,
That's right.
yeah.
She's just stopped doing the wrestling this year.
Yeah, I was going to say, but it seems a long time ago now. It's like, okay,
She
fair enough then.
let the lads out of the shark cage and the
She just pulled
JAS.
down the entire thing over there.
Sorry. Tay Conti had a great year this year as well, so there's no need to wreck the set.
She let the JAS out of the shark cage in the barbed wire match. That was crucial.
She had the match with Jade.
Well
The
done,
match
Jade.
with Jade was my favourite Ty Conti match ever.
Yeah, where they made the statement with the lip lock.
Oh yeah, every time I say that, people go, "Is it because they kissed?" And I'm like, no, I just liked their match. It was good.
Yeah.
But it was a brave statement to make as well.
It was a brave statement. And speaking of brave statements, Ross, who is your most improved of 2022?
The WWE's on-screen product.
Ooh.
That is because everything is now in sync.
Jack just crunching up his paper in the corner. Sorry.
Because it's the same or different?
No, because it's not a wrestler.
It's an award.
Yeah.
Everything's in sync now. Stuff adds up compared to, at the start of the year, things just happened one week and then they were forgotten about the next week. That doesn't happen anymore. Everything makes sense as far as I can see. There's more wrestling on the wrestling shows. Titles mean more than they have done in a very long time, especially the secondary men's and women's tag team titles as well. The 24/7 title, the pointlessness has been sort of brushed away under the carpet. The commentators are allowed to speak like humans. They have a laugh now. They even reference history to back up their arguments. There's less meaningless chit-chatter in the promos and whatnot. The shows have less crappy comedy, unless Johnny Gargano fancies a segment on Raw. You need to be paying attention at all times now, by and large, because stuff happens in the background of shots and whatnot these days. The morale backstage, let's throw that in there. That's massively improved this year, from the start to the end of the year. I'm sure there's more, but that's just more.
I think you've done more than enough there, Ross. I mean, that's a very, very agreeable pick. As obviously people who love watching wrestling every single week. Yeah, God, it's been such a huge step up.
Yeah.
So,
and he's coming back?
The recent news?
Merry Christmas.
Stop it. No,
Yeah.
right now, everything is okay. Everything is okay for now. Jack, it's a tough one. Can you
I know,
match it?
I don't feel like I can top it, but it's worth a mention anyway. Mine is Bron Breakker. I thought at the start of the year, most of us maybe saw Bron Breakker as someone with an obvious amount of promise, but also risked being pushed far too quickly, especially when he beat Ciampa for the NXT title at New Year's Evil. That's when he did it. Since then, he's proven that he's more than capable of being, I don't know what I was on when I wrote, being an all-energy babyface at the top of the roster. And WWE should clearly be excited by what they've got on their hands. Second half of the year was especially good. The unification match with Tyler Bate and the triple threat against Ilya Dragunov and JD McDonough, brackets plus whatever happened at Deadline. So I wrote this before. He had the...
Are you all right, though?
Yeah, it was a good match, yeah. He may be the one being led through matches by the more experienced wrestlers, but that's okay. He has that Goldberg factor where you just want to see him run through heels. Also, honourable mention to Delightful Hudson. Because, I mean...
Oh, that's a...
Cody went from undesirable to undeniable. He's gone from dull to
Delightful.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's good, but I remember liking Bron last year, so I don't think he's improved. I think he's actually stayed the same. But obviously, your opinions may vary, which is why we all have such fascinating podcast chemistry.
Yeah, correct.
Glad you think so much.
We've all improved. We'll put ourselves in. That's good, but yeah, like I said, I think he's been at the same level as he was last year, to be honest with you. So I'm sure it's a nice compliment in some ways, but I'm sorry, Ross's pick.
I know, you can't.
Because I got 100% agree with it. Bron, obviously, I still think he's as good as he was last year. Possibly, yeah, I'd say he has, obviously, if anything, he has improved, but I don't think it's like an enormous leap.
How are we going to personify when it flashes up on the screen? Well, we'll see.
A miserable picture of Vince McMahon and a happy picture of the game.
Yeah.
The Cerebral Assassin. The King of Kings.
Triple H eating a pasty.
If this was if this was a real awards ceremony and someone had to get up to collect this one, I suppose it would be Triple H.
That's the entire Raw set that they haven't changed for 3 years. My most improved, the Acclaimed.
They've got that bag of matches now, haven't they?
I mean, yeah. They went from, a bit of a gimmick to, what my God, was that an earthquake? Oh, sorry. It's that, and the crowd reaction afterwards. Or just keeping it over here in the UK, where I've barely been paying attention to the wrestling scene, I've got to admit. But what I have seen, Leon Slater. So I've been,
Tom Campbell's a big fan of Leon Slater.
Absolutely. God,
I haven't watched enough of Leon.
From roof-raising performances in North to travelling over to America Land and doing good over there.
Is he also really
teaching them how to wrestle?
Like annoyingly young as well and full of promise?
Oh, he's like 12. You'll hate him. I don't know. They get us anything. So those are my honourable mentions. For the half-year winner for this category, we had most improved Wheeler Yuta.
Oh, yeah, okay, right.
Ooh,
I think it's
the second half of the year, has it?
No, what I saw online was that didn't Yuta and I think Garcia, didn't they main event in AEW Dynamite? I may be getting this wrong, but definitely Yuta or one of them main evented.
Pure title, yeah.
And it did not do a good rating, which I
Not
don't
good
know
rating.
why they would expect it to. But
They just had a good match at Final Battle.
of course,
They did
but
it on there because it was in Garcia's hometown.
Oh, in Buffalo. When
thank
he
you.
won the belt, there was a rapper there as well with him. That's what I remember. He came out with a rapper from Buffalo.
yo, it's me, the Buffalo
Buffalo,
rapper.
yeah.
Hey, he's from here. But yeah,
Just a big
I still like him.
Buffalo
But
mascot's outfit. Whoa, no, it wasn't that.
Anyway, yeah, that was really you.
So imagine, moo, 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 moo,
Yeah,
moo,
Code, moo, 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 moo. Anyway,
That's what Wheeler Unit needs. Even though it's Garcia that's from Buffalo. Yeah.
they should have won then. So, moving on to the
Moving
next.
on.
Oh, very good. Most charismatic.
Right.
To remind people, last year's, wow, sit on your seats for this one, Roman Reigns. Wow, who'd have thunk it? Jack, who have you got for this year's most charismatic?
Phil Brooks. CM Punk, I've gone for.
That's an interesting one, actually.
Yes, in OSW Review's video on All Out, on the press conference afterwards, they spent a lot of time, like 20 minutes, dissecting CM Punk's rant and criticizing what he says, rightfully so as well. But then at the end, they all agree that it was an amazing promo. And then I think OC goes, what a talker, though. What a guy.
I love your impressions.
He's a beautiful lady.
Yeah. Despite all the stuff...
They're all beautiful ladies.
They've all got equally... Yeah. Despite all the stuff that happened this year, Punk also reminded us that he's one of the very best talkers in wrestling and one of the most captivating presences. He also played a few slightly different roles with ease. The gullible babyface against MJF when he got turned on, when he bought into the whole, oh, I'm sad, and then he kicked him in the balls. Then a vengeful throwback to his older self for the dog collar rematch. The big time start against a more humble Hangman Page, brackets whether by design or not. And then a hometown hero with his back against the wall for the ultimately ill-fated feud with Jon Moxley. Somebody pay him to be in their promotion, please. He is box office like 2011 Mario Balotelli. So... yeah.
Well timed
CM
there,
Punk.
just as Ross was getting the drink in his mouth. Fantastic. That's a very good pick. And it would
Really? I
annoy...
thought you were both going to go, nah, it's too much.
You know what?
CM
I
Punk."
hadn't even
charismatic.
He is a charismatic.
You know, I hadn't even thought about it, but obviously you say it's the most obvious thing in the world now. But yeah, you are right. That's what he's got. He's got fans and everything else. And it would annoy people just to have given an award, which we're all about doing here. So,
Oh, is that?
yeah. So, Ross, there's lots of other people you could pick, but what have you got for us?
Well, my pick is like one of those running races where it's like a marathon, and the person who's been in the lead all the way through, they're going, yeah, but they haven't gone through the thing, and they've been pipped at the post by someone at last. So my pick was going to be MJF up until like last week, and then he had his pants pulled down by my pick, who was Ricky Starks.
Oh, wow.
I can't. We was trying to think last week of maybe a CM Punk example where MJF was like hands down beaten in a promo off, but I don't think we quite got there with a definitive answer. But for me, last week, Ricky Starks definitively pulled down MJF's pants, and therefore, because MJF was going to be my pick, the fact that Ricky Starks has done that makes him my pick. And it's not as if he was quiet for the rest of the year. They had the little promo packages and whatnot. I know he didn't have as much TV time as other people, I guess, in the early parts of the year. But I just think, just because of what he did to MJF and the fact we haven't seen that over maybe 3 years of AEW now, I just think that deserves to win the award.
That's a really good one as well, because you are right. I'm all about Ricky Starks. I think he's fantastic. But it's the fact that he's just barely been on TV.
Yeah.
He's killed. And also, that amazing 3-minute match against Hobbs, which I think set him back.
Why did that happen?
We don't know
know.
why that happened.
But you are right. The man is so charismatic that even that confusing decision and doing nothing but wear cool gear at, was it Beach? But not Beach Blast.
Beach
Beach Break that they did, and stuff like that. He's still been able to keep himself there and the crowd going, yeah, get him. Oh. The only reason I'm thinking about it, rather than just giving you this, is because I want to seem like I'm going to give you all the awards and Jack on.
But
I feel like I'm being
in picking Ricky Starks there, I mean, it's like when an Oscar candidate goes down really well with the Academy. Like, you are a big Ricky Starks fan.
Yeah. You're right. Like, CM Punk's always going to be thought of as charismatic, but Ricky Starks, do the booking. This could be his last time he wins anything here.
And
So.
we're sat here on the 14th, by the way.
Is, we are. And what I will point out is, don't worry about evening out the award you dish out. We want to know your true opinion. And if anything, I would suggest that maybe a whitewash would even do well for the views of this video. so don't worry about that.
Thank you. As long as I said that now, instead of like, he's picking Ross again. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to pick Ricky Starks.
Fair.
Because, again, thinking ahead, which we all should be doing right now in December, if he does start picking up, we can go, wow, look who mentioned. Oh, we did. I don't know what CM Punk's going to be doing next year, but he'll probably be somewhere rich and miserable.
Oh, yeah. I will say this was I'm interested to hear your honourable, because there was loads you could pick for this category.
There certainly was. Of course, charismatic. I'm surprised that neither of you went for the really, really obvious one of Sami Zayn.
Well,
I thought the man is oozing charisma from whether he's just against Jackass and everything he's been doing with the Bloodline. I thought that was like there wouldn't be anybody in contendership for this apart from him, so I'm surprised at that.
He might crop up.
He probably will crop up.
Yeah, we can't give him all the awards, I guess. Yeah, good point. Or Kevin Owens, who has had been on and off, but anytime he's been there, again, Ezekiel Elias thing it was built around Kevin Owens, people wanting to see his reaction to that. That was the entire thing. Anything else he's done this year has gotten big pops. The Austin Theory thing, he was so charismatic that he killed that man's career with one promo. So
Stone Cold thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Stone Cold thing.
Rubber ball cap on.
Yes.
Lovely.
I forgot about that. So there's that, and
Roman
I'd say
Reigns?
again, it's one of those so obvious.
Any of the Bloodline, yeah, they've all been
right.
Yeah.
Those are crazy years for them. And I'd also say the Acclaimed again.
Yeah.
Again, might as well go with the obvious one. So that was the most charismatic of 2022. The half-year winner, to no one's surprise, MJF.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Again, everything after that bloody, was he on the plane? Was he not on the plane? Stuff, just like, all right.
Was there even a plane?
Yeah, do planes exist? Australia isn't real. So we move now to the next category, which is, bong. Hey, it works now. Best non-wrestler.
To me, this seemed. I've come with a backup pick in case because
I was thinking about. I think if we both have the same answer, I just think that's what it should be. You know.
Then can we at least both give our backup picks just anyway, just for fun?
Yeah. Just for S's
But
and
yeah,
giggles.
do you think that should just? Matthew's not in the equation.
If we're both thinking the same thing.
Matthew's not even the equation, man, between you and me. So, 2021 winner, non-wrestler Arn Anderson. What a year that man had in 21.
Where's he gone?
Yeah,
Is he
where has
still
he
locked
gone?
in Cody's garden?
If he's locked up, he won't be locked up for
Cody,
long.
let me in. I'm very cold.
The enforcer. So, best non-wrestler.
Ross, I think.
Ross
Yeah.
it is. Let Ross, go on, surprise us.
It's William Regal.
Of course
still.
it is.
The BCC promo package that took Twitter by storm. The serious commentary where he's telling us why wrestling moves are being done, why the wrestlers taking the moves but part of his stable, why they're doing certain things with their bodies. Ooh, we're taking that German suplex with our necks bent slightly to the left to protect them, or something like that. The romance angle with Excalibur or other silly bollocks. And the greatest, oh bugger, we haven't tied this bow up very well at the end of a storyline, so let's travel back in time promo in the history of professional wrestling. That as well is another check mark in William Regal's non-wrestling. Yeah, it's just everything he did.
I've also gone for William
I
Regal.
was going to say, anything else, other reasons than
I've
what you said?
commentary, video packages, promos, all amazing. A question mark over the very last thing he did, the heel turn with MJF. But regardless of where the booking has taken Regal, you feel as though he's doing everything to the very best of his ability. Have you got an honourable, like a secondary pick?
No, I didn't. I just came with that one.
I gave a shout out to Excalibur. But in a year which has seen the AEW roster swell, Tony Khan buy a whole new promotion, storylines become more slapdash and stables pop up seemingly at random, Excalibur has really had his work cut out for him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, well said.
Yeah. And he's done well with it, so fair play.
Yeah, good. So now that's great. You both pick William Regal. That means I can pick one of Jack's picks. So that's a few. There's the bias
Over
gone.
my William
Yeah, exactly. His William, not yours. Not yours. So, yeah, what more can you say? He's, like you said, he's helped create more stars. I mean, it's made more stars look good than Ico Pro. So, and yeah, he's been that thing to keep everyone's cohesiveness together, which, as you've said, and we've said many times, AEW severely lacks. And it's going to be interesting to see how they cope without him being there. Or until he does a 180 when he sees who's come back to WWE, I guess. But for now, William Regal, were there any other contenders? Because myself, my honorable mention, well, yeah, believe it or not, I also picked Regal. My honorable mention was going to be Stokely Hathaway.
Okay. Taz?
Pat McAfee when he's not
Pat.
wrestling.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
commentary,
another good
SmackDown Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any
Michael
others?
Cole?
Michael Cole.
I almost had him for most improved.
Yeah,
as
same.
well,
Right,
because
right.
now that he's not got Vince yelling in his ear, he's him with Pat and Wade. It just sounds like a completely different human being. He's alive.
I've not been too up on Ring of Honor, but I did watch Final Battle, and I enjoyed the raw emotion of Ian Riccaboni and
Caprice Coleman.
Caprice Coleman, because Jericho went after Riccaboni, and as I told Ross, Caprice warned him, he went, Riccaboni, run. Jericho was coming for Riccaboni. I like them. They're all right. They bring a slightly different tone where it feels more like a sporting contest, but with emotion as well. But William Regal. Yeah.
Lovely.
Who won the half year?
The half year was William Regal.
That's even before a lot of the stuff he did. Wow.
The Tom Gretzky.
I
of not
rocked up in
talking
April,
or
I think,
doing
didn't he? And won the half year award.
Wayne Gretzky. Tom Gretzky.
Did I say Tom Gretzky?
Yeah. who's that?
I don't know. Some
Your mate.
the Jimmy Hart version, I guess. Yeah, my mate. Tom Gretzky. Moving on.
Thomas Brady.
Yeah, there we go.
Maybe that's what you did.
The number one NFL,
Yeah.
NHL. Wow, just move on. To the next award. Boom. Best gimmick. Best gimmick of last year. And this is interesting to me to look back at. 2021, Cameron Grimes.
Yeah.
Where did he go this year? Was that
became
bloody Gacy
serious.
feud? And it just kind of,
There's rumours that him and Von Wagner are two of the front runners to be called up to the main roster. And I think that he's kind of ran out of stuff to do in NXT. So, fair enough.
They've definitely outgrown the brand.
Make him be fun again.
Yeah, well, plenty of room for that.
No,
on
lock him
Raw.
away in the schism.
Him and Anderson sharing a cell. So, Jack,
Is it
who have
me?
you got?
Sami Zayn for best gimmick of the year.
Of course.
I don't really know what else to say that hasn't been said already, but he's been amazing in the Bloodline. I like thinking back to when he had that first. I think it was the one in Canada, so the Usos couldn't go over the border, and so it was just relying on him and Roman to kind of carry the show. And that's when I think they might have first realized, these two have got really funny chemistry, where Roman's like manipulating Sami. But the thing I didn't expect that really took it to the next level was that they have actually accepted Sami, and it's gone the way that we weren't expecting. I do think we will get a heartbreaking betrayal of him at some point soon, but for now it's just really good. So my gimmick of the year is Bloodline Sami Uso.
The honorary Uso
The
himself.
honorary Uso, yeah. And now he's a full. He's a full. Yeah,
He's full fat Uso, isn't he? I mind Sam Uso as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you say there. It's much like a William Regal pick. It's the standout one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man carried SmackDown on his back like Atlas himself. Honorary Us. The Usi one. Master Us. Was it Usologist?
Doctor of Uthology or something.
Oh, there we go.
yeah, he can decide what is and what isn't Usi,
Yep.
which is good.
Master of Handshakes.
I also I had like an honourable mention for the Acclaimed. I said, very appropriate, or as Cody Rhodes would say, very apropos. Have you noticed now that since Cody, nobody says appropriate anymore? Everyone just says apropos because it sounds like
Whenever
fancy.
I hear that word, I hear Mongo from when he used to do commentary and go, "We're talking apropos, not talking about garden utensils."
Very appropriate. Or as Cody Rhodes would say, very apropos that they are aligned with Billy Gunn because they are the new Age Outlaws. But actually, I don't agree with that anymore because you pointed out earlier they're really good at the wrestling as well. So,
I don't think many. I'm one of those people that wasn't expecting them to be that good, but then he's like, oh, they can hang with the big boys.
they're a
the big boys
popping
play.
gimmick and they can wrestle well. But
Wow.
they're
Who knew?
not enough to beat Sami Zayn this year, though.
Absolutely. My runner-up was Chase U.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Because I'm watching NXT 2.0 going, I'm only watching this because Ross is going to ask 15 things about it on the podcast. And then Chase U show up. I'm like, yes, here we go, lads.
There's so many gimmicks in NXT that
Genuinely
could be
really
on.
like Chase U.
Oh, yeah, like a lot. I unironically hate the rest of the show and unironically love Chase U.
This is news to me.
I mean, I love NXT
I feel like I've been
2.0.
stabbed in the heart.
There's loads of gimmicks to choose from in NXT. I can't think of one.
Schism?
Schism. They're all a tree.
Nathan Fraser, professional footballer.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Von Wagner, I guess, is a sort of a gimmick.
Come, all over.
Yeah.
Get on my dancing shoes, Rob.
Well, Malik and Idris were like a good guy, a good boy, bad boy combination. But now it's all about one of them wears fashionable clothes to honor his dad.
Odyssey Jones, slowest man in the world.
Slowest friend, worst friend in the world.
The Super Diva.
Quincy.
Diva.
Quincy, twerking on the
Business
ring.
woman.
The
Surfer
businesswoman.
woman.
With the new
Witch woman.
Surfer Woman's
Fire
got the
woman.
New
Oh, there's so many great gimmicks.
Surfer Woman's got the new groundbreaking move in wrestling.
What is it?
Oh,
Have you not seen this?
Yeah.
It's been going around on Twitter. She gets on.
Oh,
just like a front.
I went, on
stunner.
what? NXT Level Up. I went, oh, that's still on?
The move stole the show though.
Well, that was petty theft at best.
hey, Wendy
So-
Chu. I'm giving Wendy Chu a shout out. Been a great year for her.
Can we move on?
Ruined many lives.
Rather than name every 2.0 gimmick.
Roxanne Perez, who's now Booker T's daughter.
What were we talking about? It was the best gimmick. Half year,
Did you go for Sami Zayn, by the way, as well?
of course.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Billy Gunn, Pooh House father of the acclaimed.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
right,
yeah,
when they were going between his favourite sons.
Took him up in
Yeah.
bed and stuff like that. While
right.
Austin and the other one stood
Yeah.
there. What's
Colton.
it? Colton, that's the one.
That's what Billy calls him as well. What's his name? So we move on to the next one. Feud of the year.
Oh.
Last year's Feud of the year. Hangman versus Omega.
Oh, of course.
I think it's fair to say it's still the best storyline AEW has done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go to that. I didn't think there would be. If there would be, I'd be like, you're mad, ye. Feud of the year, Jack.
Is
Who
it
have you
on-
got?
It's you. Yeah, it's Ross.
But I like him. But okay, go on then.
Oh, you don't like me? That's fine.
trying to cover my
I knew
mistake.
it
Go ahead,
already.
pal.
me.
You and Tom Gretzky, whoever I said. Go ahead, pal.
MJF and CM Punk.
Yeah, we go.
It's still the best. Hangman and Omega is the best feud, but I think this is the second best feud they've done. I've just written down things in a stream of consciousness here. Be My Valentine leading into Dog Collars, AFI, Devil's Deceit. The origin story of MJF being a dick. MJF cheating to win not once but 2 matches against CM Punk in Chicago, which is where CM Punk is from, by the way. A nice wholesome tag team night with Darby, Sting and Punk taking on MJF and FTR. That's happened in that feud as well. And the other things that happened as well, the promos, the wrestling, the blood, the guts, everything. Yeah.
Well, looking back, I forgot. I didn't realize it's so weird how long a year can be in wrestling. I thought, oh yeah, that was last year's thing, right? Like, oh, that was this year. It feels so long ago, right? Because it's been just such a long year. I'm like, oh yeah, I loved everything about that feud. Yeah. Again, the prestigiousness of the main event. Big match was the main event, was to me that match there with, who was it? The song that they played for Mr. Punk?
Misery Cantara.
That's right.
Yeah.
I listened to that song for ages, just like away from wrestling, because I just thought that moment when he came out.
Just piss you off because you didn't know.
I'm still waiting to learn the relevance of that song. Yeah. What did he do that for? I don't understand. Is he West Ham fan? Mine was also CM Punk versus MJF. I said the promos were obviously fantastic, but MJF's convincing us for a week that he might actually be the good guy was an unexpected twist that paid off. The reference to the old CM Punk and the Snake promo, the absolute balls on Tony Khan to book Punk to lose in Chicago, one of his best booking decisions, I've said. One of his boldest booking decisions.
I'll go with that, yeah.
And it made the rematch all the more sweet as well when the bad guy got his comeuppance in the end. A simple story of hero versus villain told in complex fashion, all tied together by 2 excellent matches, and as a bonus, it even helped maximise Wardlow's popularity at the time, although that has since been a bit squandered. I also mentioned Imperium versus the Brawling Brutes as an honourable one.
I had that as an honourable, but yeah, my one was the same as you two lads.
Aye.
MJF, I think, has gone to the, hey, I'm going to reference something that went back to the thing, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, all right, okay. But it really worked with CM Punk, because obviously the Punk fans know everything he's referring to, the pipe bombs, the Snake, the Ring of Honor Sting. So it really worked really well for people who are well-versed in the book of Punk. And I think that was a good pick. We was both there. Yeah. Can't believe that was this year. That's so many. I know. I've picked my honourable one would be the Bloodline versus the World.
Okay, yeah.
Just Bloodline versus everybody else, because it's been banger after banger after banger, like Sheamus and Drew and bloody even Logan Paul. I ain't admitted, but hey, when they're right, they're right. So, but yeah, overall, good pick, lads.
I've been late to the party on this one, and it's someone you've mentioned before, and I've not really known who she is, but I've since caught up, and I'm now on the hype train. But I think Jordan Grace and Masha Slamovich have had a good feud as well in Impact Wrestling. I'm all about Impact this year. Go on, Impact.
Good, that's all we want to catch up on Impact. Last week of the year.
They're steady on there. They're just,
right.
You can always trust them.
That's right,
which is bizarre, because they were always the promotion that you couldn't trust. Weird.
Right, and it was underrated. I was almost going to pick Mike Bailey, but at the same time, I'm like, no, everyone I know rates the hell out of him. He's just not seen by many
but everyone
people.
you know is wrestling hipster.
I was wondering where that was going to go.
No, it's fine. A hipster I went with. A wrestling hipster.
No, that's absolutely fair to say. And believe it or not, the feud of the year, half year, was MJF Punk. Nothing's come along since to meet it. So, very good picks, lads. Let's move on to the next category of Show of the Year. Ooh, this is the major show, should point out. Like the big show of the year. Because like weekly show and
not
like
the
that.
big show, just an actual wrestling show.
Wow. 2021 winner.
Oh, sorry.
Show of the year, AEW All Out 2021, of course.
Returns.
Landslide. Yeah. The returns are many. So, Jack, who have you got for this year? Or what have you got this year?
Which I would never have guessed in the build, but I've gone for Forbidden Door. So much hype about the AEW New Japan partnership, but a pretty weak and rushed build to this one meant that it actually ended up over-delivering massively. It turned out to be a really consistent show, which didn't fall into the AEW trap of every match having loads of everything, which I think is what you've said in the past about NXT takeovers as well towards the end, is that every match had loads of everything. Right. 2 very fun exhibition-style tag matches, the Jericho Suzuki Eddie one and the Sting Darby Shingo and Bullet Club one. A high-paced, spottier match between Ospreay and Orange Cassidy. A big surprise and high work rate match between Zack Sabre Jr. and the debuting Claudio. A hard-hitting main event between Moxley and Tanahashi. The IWGP title match may have been slightly let down and featured an unfortunate injury to Adam Cole, but apart from that, it really delivered from top to bottom with everyone. I think it's a sign of a good show is when everyone's split on what the best match actually was, because I've not heard any general consensus like that was the best match of that show. There was like 5 you could say. So yeah, there we go.
It's a lovely pick. I would say, before Ross even says his thing, your enjoyment of the show will vary on how much you give a damn about New Japan, I'd say, because the build
Not at all.
was awful, and I felt the show didn't have any long-term impact on AEW, so it felt more of a novelty than it did like WWE going to Saudi Arabia, I would say. Some of it's canon, but some of it's not.
Ross,
All
what-
right.
Yeah.
I was trying to. How did they link together?
Oh, yeah, New
I feel
Japan
like-
is exactly the same as Saudi Arabia.
I feel
Sorry.
like Ross has a counterpoint now. To what
Okay,
you
go
just
ahead,
said.
Ross.
Yeah, because I don't give a hoot about New Japan Pro Wrestling, but my show of the year is the Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
Really?
Despite the fact, the only thing I'd add to what Jack was saying is despite the fact it was cursed with injuries before the show even started, the amount of people like that had
right,
to pull out. Zack Sabre Jr.
Was it Ishii who was the pull-out?
No, Ishii was there.
It was in the
Who was
four-way,
that going
sorry.
to wrestle? Oh, no, wait. That was
Danielson.
a mystery. Danielson, that was it. It was going to be Zach Danielson,
That's
yeah.
right. And then Claudio rocked up to make his
Yeah.
debut, which was the best of a bad situation, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, just as you said, I couldn't give a toss about New Japan. I never have done. I've tried to, when Wrestle Kingdom rolls around, I always make sure to watch them because that's the big event of the year. And they're always good. But it's just a standalone wrestling show, just watching up and down the card. I remember us dreading the length of it on the podcast before it, but watching it, it just flew by. It didn't feel like 17 million matches, whatever the hell was on the card. So that would, yeah, Forbidden Door for me.
I am genuinely surprised at that.
Yeah.
But that's, again, opinions are great, aren't they? Well,
all
I mean, your
smell.
own one is, and everyone else is awful, obviously. But no, that's a very interesting way of looking at it. I maybe don't like the show as much as others just because of what I've said. But also, I had COVID, so it took me 2 sittings just to physically be able to sit down and watch it. So maybe if I watch it now sober, I'll be like, wow. This was a great show. I'm not saying it wasn't, because as you said, did you have any favourite matches?
Well, Orange Cassidy Ospreay was the standout for me, yeah. Because they both told a story, didn't they? These two lads who can't tell stories, they told a story.
Yeah, that was probably my standout match as well. But I really liked the Jericho tag match, the opener. It was really fun.
Just a bit, big old fun.
Yeah,
big old dirty
fun.
bollocks.
Big dirty fun.
Shout out to Big Dirty Clark Connors as well.
That was it.
Yes.
That was the guy.
Rootin' Tootin' Cowboy himself.
Oh, he just got shoved in at the last second.
Yeah.
yeah.
That would have Miro's 4 matches this year.
Yeah.
That's as good as winning a title.
Yeah.
God. Well, very surprised there, but also not surprised at the same time because it was a hell of an event in terms of just match quality. I thought AW Revolution had this in the bag. I don't even think it was a question. The one with Kingston Jericho, the 3-way tag match. What else we got here?
Dog
CM
collar.
Punk, MJF, Dog Collar, Moxie Danielson. Paige Cole and that big old 6-man
Oh, yeah,
silly
Regal
stuff.
debuted,
I thought
yeah.
the Regal debut. I thought that was like the absolute cert. I thought it was a dead-on
Fair
win,
enough.
but
That's a good
wow,
show
that's
as
why I don't bet. Fair enough then. My other one would have been SummerSlam because I watched it with friends. I hadn't seen for ages, so we actually watched it around like the good old days. 21. I didn't even watch WrestleMania with mates because it was because in Stag do. So I had to watch it completely out of my head, going, "Oh, this is great." So SummerSlam, I'd say, was a hell of an event. Did you have any preferences on the WWE event?
Night one of WrestleMania, not night 2.
No.
Night 2 was the bad one, wasn't it? Or was it night 1? No.
Oh,
They both had positives. Night
Cody
2 had Sammy Jackass.
That was night 2.
Yeah.
Night 1 was Becky Bianca, Austin
Cody.
Owens, Cody and Rollins. Yeah.
But I remember night 2 falling flat with Brock and Roman in the main event wasn't. It was what was.
It was
yeah.
as good as it could have been.
Then
but you're like,
Vince's bit was there.
the best stunner of all time.
Until the other day when Ross mentioned it to me in the office, I really quite confidently picked Forbidden Door, thinking that he was going to pick Clash at the Castle because of being there and the atmos and everything. But
I just think if you weren't there live, I don't think you would get much out of it as a show. I
If-
thought Gunter and Sheamus is obviously fantastic viewing for anyone watching, but I think outside of that, I think if you were just at home and not like in the atmosphere, I thought you would be quite like, oh.
It was a very solidly average show.
You could
but
tell-
the crowd reaction,
you could tell watching it.
Yeah.
But you could tell even if you weren't there though that the crowd were amazing. You could tell from home. So I think that added to it anyway.
Yeah.
Not
I
as
would
much
have
obviously
said-
as being there live.
I would have said, yeah, if Drew had bloody won.
Yeah.
If he hadn't had to
maybe,
sing
yeah.
with Tyson Fury.
I'll just put it down. No, put your hand down. No, put
the
that
ending
nomination
was
down.
The ending was
So, yeah, great year for shows. The half show of the year, Forbidden Door.
oh right. Oh.
There we go. Yeah, very consistent. Now we're getting to the even more serious awards. The match of the year.
Oh my god.
God, there was a lot to pick from.
Yeah.
Last year's winner, Lucha Brothers versus Young Bucks at All Out 2021, aka the Cage one.
Right.
God, there were so many bangers that year. That seems like it could be one of 5 different matches.
There's been
And
a lot
this
this
year
year.
is no different.
Ross.
Ross, what have you
The
got?
one you don't like. I went for Gunther versus Sheamus at Castle with Bret Hart at ringside. For one, I was there, so it was twice as good maybe as it would have been watched at home, even though I reckon it was still very good at home as well. Giovanni Vinci making his return to Imperium, the sexy Italian model that he is.
Imperium, as Imperium.
Aye, as Imperium, but also with his sexy Italian model name. But they had the spot at the start with the Eye of the Storm. Gunther and Sheamus just stood there while all the little friends just were going radio rental around them. That was good. Then they twatted each other for a long while. I remember a Gunther big boot was absolutely amazing. He chopped Sheamus off the top turnbuckle. Scoop slam on the stairs, which would play into the finish of the match. Gunther dominated for ages, which made Sheamus's chest redder than a baboon's arse, and also made Sheamus's fight back with a dick in the ass to make a little dip of the cap to that wonderful music.
It was a song. It was one of our WCW themes. Fight back with a dick in the ass. It wasn't. It just sounded.
Don't even fit in the context.
It just sounded like that was.
You know,
the
that
lyric,
everyday expression.
A big fight back with a dick in the ass.
John Madden would say it regularly on Monday night.
But Sheamus's fight back was made twice as good just by the visuals of what
Tom
happened.
Gretzky's fighting back.
Who is he? Okay, so
and then we got to the finish, obviously, where Sheamus's lower back injury from the scoop slam on the stairs and everything else that happened to him played into it, and it just the power bomb and then the lariat for the win was just a fantastic lariat. And then I love an ovation where someone's lost, but the crowd you can just see him like rise as it goes back up the stand, and that's what happened for Sheamus because he is a lovely fella,
like the end of Cool Runnings.
yes.
Yeah. He gave it his best, didn't he?
the carton off Sheamus like that on the finish line. That's a hell of a pick. It's so obvious. I wonder if Jack has another one or he's just going to go for that.
No, I've got a different one.
Oh, good.
But I've realised that I haven't written a blurb for this one, unfortunately.
Speak with your heart.
I'm going for FTR Briscoe's 1 at Supercard of Honor.
Okay.
Wait, was Supercard of Honor?
I think so.
At Supercard of Honor, the one that's not 2 out of 3 falls and the one that wasn't, the recent one with the dog collars. Basically, if we did a tag team of the year category, I don't think we could. Maybe the Usos, but FTR have had so many amazing matches.
That would be
this year.
we should add that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
We should.
Next year.
But they've had amazing matches with Aussie Open, the Briscoes, the Bucks, like everyone. They've had really good matches.
Yeah.
The New Japan fellas as well. But I think the first one with the Briscoes was a bit like. I like the matches that the Briscoes have in when it's more like wild and hardcore, like the GCW ones where they're slamming each other through doors and that. But when they were in this match with FTR, it just made me realize that like the FTR have kind of, you know how they were always giving it the big one about we want to bring tag team wrestling back and everything. Well, this year they've actually sort of done it, and this match was like the prime example of that. It just kept elevating and elevating and elevating. I preferred it to the 2 out of 3 falls one. Just because of the shock value, like of how good it was, you then knew the sequel was going to be good. And I preferred it to the dog collar one because even though it was wilder and there was less rules, I think FTR, this sounds really wanky, but I think FTR work best when there are rules to work around and to overcome with tactics and strategy. So I know that's more of a love letter to FTR than it is to the match itself, but I
think both have deserved it this year. Everything you said was incredibly valid.
So I'll go for that one, but also an honourable mention too. The dog collar match, CM Punk and MJF, and Hangman Page, Bryan Danielson, the one with the winner, not the one that was a draw, that was last year.
Oh, that was this
year. But the
year,
one where Hangman beat him, and there was blood and like it went like not as long as the last one. It was a TV match. But I'll go for FTR Briscoe's 1, I think.
You think?
I think. It's hard,
you know what?
man.
FTR's had so many. I don't blame you
I
for
nearly went. I've just recently watched the Aussie Open one as well, and I was like, oh my God.
Which show was that again?
Royal
Royal
Quest.
Quest at the Copper Box.
The one where he's walking around the ring during his entrance and he goes like, Tony, book us.
Oh, I remember now.
Yeah.
Right. Must remember a bit of that match.
So just any FTR match. But,
God. Wow. I'm only going to go with Ross because, one, I love Gunther, and again, hipster Maffew going, oh, now I like Gunther. All right, cool. And also just because if we vote you, it means we have to pay attention to Ring of Honor when it comes to this year. Let's pretend it doesn't exist. It makes our life a lot easier.
I will say a point in Ross's favour is that like this was an example of a formula that already exists, a really, really good tag match, whereas the Gunther Sheamus one I just wasn't expecting it to go in that direction. Yeah. So, fair.
Yeah, again, the Renaissance man himself, Sheamus. Banger after banger
After banger. Rest of the year for 2021.
Absolutely. And now some people went, what the hell? Again, ahead of the curve. Just saying.
I still think that Brian was robbed last year. It's fine.
So looking at my honorable picks, I had Wheeler Yuta versus Moxley.
Yeah.
The first one. It's a shame, though. I probably wouldn't have picked overall just because Yuta has had that great match and then has done sod and all for the rest of the year. Not his fault, obviously. Usos versus Street Profits from Money in the Bank, a.k.a. the only reason to watch that bloody show. Punk MJF, yeah, sure. Anarchy in the Arena.
Yes.
Because just the sights and visuals was...
Is that when they played the theme music?
Yeah,
They new jacked it, as the kids say. Eddie Kingston with the fire.
Yeah.
Not the fire, sorry, the petrol. That makes fire.
That visual was good. Like,
Yeah.
Danielson is... I mean, there was nothing like it this year. Reigns versus Lesnar at SummerSlam, which I'm only putting down because, again, watching it live, we were losing our minds.
Oh, yeah, the tractor.
The ring.
With the Jaeger and the
Yeah.
tractor came in. It's probably not that good of a match, but just the sight of that
so good.
alone was just made me lose my mind. Belair versus Becky from...
WrestleMania.
I couldn't pick either that or the SummerSlam. They were both great this year.
Yeah.
Cody versus Seth at Hell in the Cell.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah.
And
Spectacular.
my other honourable mention would be Sammy versus Johnny Knoxville.
That was literally what I saw, right?
That's Aiden Gibbons' best man. He loved that match.
Yeah, Swerve and Glory versus The Acclaimed, the first
one, yeah.
Where, again, I liked it because Kenny Omega had his six-man tag and then went, hey, follow that. And then The Acclaimed did. Like, haha, get stuffed. Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm from Full Gear. I'd say it's probably the best AEW women's match this year.
I can't
Some
think
others.
of
There was a four-way that was good as well, but I
Yeah.
preferred that just because Jamie Hayter finally ascended to the throne. And the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook. Easy for me to say.
yeah.
Can I give
Donnybrook,
an
of course,
honourable
was Tom Gretzky's tag partner.
As we sit here on, I don't even know what the day is today.
The
but
14th of
yes,
December.
That's
Just-
the 14th.
Just this week or last weekend, the men's Iron Survivor, that match was unbelievable. I came into the office with a spring in my step because I was so happy about that match. Wow. And then I told all Fraser and Jack Atkins and them, and none of them had watched it. It's like, oh, justice for NXT.
Philistines.
Yeah, I know.
Any other honorable mentions from you, Ross?
No, that was it. Just, Sammy and Johnny, and then the spectacular match was going to be my other honourable mention. We'll never see anything like that ever again.
We hope not. The match of the year, unsurprisingly, was, for the half year, Punk versus MJF dog collar.
It's just been pipped, but it was
Yeah.
still good.
Bet them. Missed it by this much. Now, the very important, the main event
Hang on.
of the
Do
Culties 2022.
we have promotion of the year as well?
That's the one.
What about Wrestler of the Year? Is that not the main event?
Yeah, we've got Wrestlers Year's main event, isn't it?
This is the co-main.
It's the semi
No,
main.
because this is the one that we gave to 2.0.
Oh, right.
The rest of the year is the lights out match, you know. But no, promotion of the year because, thank you very much, right, done it.
No.
To remind everybody, last year was AEW.
Yeah.
2021, very deserved.
At the top.
Bit not perfect or anything like that, but I'd say head and shoulders above WWE. Things have changed a lot. So, Jack.
Ross?
Me.
No. Yeah, Ross first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
No,
Wait.
you did Gunther. So
Oh,
this is-
Oh, yeah.
I am right sometimes.
sorry.
Go ahead, Jack.
Don't panic. I've prepped Ross for this.
I've been told not to make
So
faces.
I've said, please don't laugh at me. Stardom. Don't worry, I've done my research. No, I knew he was going to do this. This is
look
what,
at the
I'm not making... Go, no.
no, don't worry, I've done my research and I've
Go
watched.
ahead.
I watched some Stardom matches to justify my points. And I've,
That would help.
because I was stuck, right? WWE had a bad first half of the year. AEW had a bad second half of the year. I wanted to find a promotion that did well the whole year. NXT cannot be allowed to win as a standalone thing, I've said. Impact were doing so well, but for me, just have fallen slightly off the rails towards the end of the year with Kazarian winning the X Division title. There's a bit of a step back, and he's the elite hunter.
But it's like Bully Ray
and
stuff
Bully
like
Ray
that,
suddenly
yeah.
being in the main event scene. And also, I quite wanted Masha Slamovich to beat Jordan Gray, but she didn't. It feels like they've got all the pieces on the roster, but aren't fully going all in with them. So instead, I've gone for Stardom, the biggest and arguably best Joshi promotion of all. Stardom have been one of the few promotions that didn't suffer too much in the pandemic and has since thrived in the year or two after the pandemic. The 5-star Grand Prix, which is their G1 Climax style big round robin tournament, has been excellent this year. Out of the matches I watched of Stardom, my favourite was the final of that between Julia and Big Tam Nakano. She just sounds like a Scottish bloke. It's funny. Big Tam. Julia won. It was a really crucial time because Julia is a crucial name for them. She has serious crossover appeal. She is like half Japanese but half Italian, so she can speak various languages. She's a good ambassador for the company. She's also one of their most captivating workers and is also maybe the most charismatic woman on the roster. On December 29th, at their last big show of the year, she will have taken on Syuri, the main champion, who won the belt the same way last year. She's been their top champion all year, and it's been a strong reign from Syuri. Big wins over Mayu Iwatani, Momo Watanabe, and most recently, Utami Hayashishita. So it's been a strong champion. The champion's held the belt all year. It's been strong at the top of the card. The big historic crossover show, which Richard Tubman went to with New Japan, was a success, and saw Kairi Sane, or Kairi now, crowned as the first ever IWGP Women's Champion, which helps their case as well, because it's an interesting political move. It'll only be defended on New Japan shows. It's a necessary growth of women's wrestling in Japan, and maybe Sasha Banks will get her hands on them. Also, the tag division's been grand, as me and Tom discussed on the recent breakdown of the PWI Tag 100, with FWC getting number 5 in the list and having some great matches. And also, they've got the high-speed division, which is like the cruiserweight division, and has one of my personal favourite wrestlers on the card, Starlight Kid, who's a masked heel who can do all the flips, and she's like 4'2". There we go. Stardom's great up and down the card, and has been all year.
Wow. Well, I wasn't expecting that.
I really had to like back it up.
And you got that all written down and prepared. I'm very proud of you.
I couldn't have done it without the notes.
Yeah, I can tell. But no, very good there. I look forward to hearing Ross's talking about that in his Rise and Fall of Stardom video in 2024.
Oh, they haven't fallen yet.
No, their star is rising still.
That's what happens with stars. But it's interesting that none of this has been brought up in the podcast that we do every week until now.
Well,
so are you one of these people that just pretends not to like this thing until
No, I'll be honest,
you find someone who does like it, it's like, oh, thank God I can talk to
No,
somebody
like,
about it.
since I started thinking about the culties on the horizon, I've really been cramming my Stardom. It's like the Stardom exams tomorrow. And I'm like,
okay.
Yeah, so I've crammed it all in.
And is this just you wanting to curry favour with the Yoshi audience? Or?
Yeah, I want to get back in Japanese wrestling Twitter's good books.
I know, that's always in the back of your head. Honorable mention to Lulu Pencil then, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I'm more a fan of the serious Japanese women's wrestling, not the comedy Japanese women. Because as we know, when I slagged off the Japanese comedy wrestling, Twitter came for me hard. Not in that sense. Jesus. Please, someone else jump in. Someone else.
Well, thank you, Jack. Have you, correct me if I'm wrong, have you nominated Yoshi Promotion for wrestling?
No, I've nominated one of them for maybe Wrestler of the Year.
Oh, that's right.
And that was Syuri, who had a big title run this year.
And was she your favourite this year?
No, Julia, the new up-and-comer, because I'm fickle.
I think we all are, so that's absolutely fair enough. So Stardom there. Ross, who have you got?
WWE. Now, the highlights of the second year are obvious. I've went through the improvements earlier on in this video, so if you skip that one, rewind and you hear that one there. So I've just tried to list down the highlights from the previous regime's portion of the year to prove that there has been some good things.
That's a good idea.
All the way across the year. The on-the-fly main event from day one was a hoot, even if it was gutting to see Big E lose his title the way he did so. Reigns versus Roman at the Rumble. Reigns versus Rollins at the Rumble.
I'm the one who fumbles the words here. He's giving a gimmick.
Oh, God, that was this year as well.
Yeah, with the Shield gear and whatnot.
Yeah.
Shane McMahon pissing off after the Rumble was fantastic.
Yeah.
And also the story of his entrance was also brilliant. Go out there, Wendy. No. Then we had Roman spaffing on Goldberg in Saudi Arabia. Becky versus Lita in Saudi Arabia. Liv Morgan cashing in was in the first half of the year, even though I think everyone was wanting a lady to hold the briefcase more than like a few hours. She went and did it, but it was a great moment anyway.
I remember the crowd loving it, and then it fizzled off. But yeah, you're right.
WrestleMania Backlash was a solid enough show, but the Bloodline and versus Drew and RK Bro was good. Yeah. Cody versus Seth arguably had a better match than their WrestleMania match at WrestleMania Backlash. That's a big claim from me when I put it out there.
I can't remember that one between the cage match and the first match.
Yeah,
I watched your What Happened At video.
Was I saying that it was? Did I say it was better?
It might have been better than the WrestleMania one.
Well, I can't remember it. Wow.
This is what it's a real bad thing when you go, wait, who said? Oh, we did.
My memory is shot.
I've
That's
been
why
cited as a point against myself. Fair enough.
WrestleMania 38, the highlights that went through earlier on there. Cody and Seth inside Hell in a Cell, and also they are the promotion that kind of brings NXT to the masses and the joy that brings everybody as well. So, yeah. So the second half of the year, we all know what they are, but the first half of the year, that was the highlights for me.
That's a good way of doing it, because I had misremembered a lot of the first half of it. There were bad things, but there was some good things as well.
But I need to say, we're sat here on the 14th of December. Yesterday was the day the Vince McMahon news broke.
Oh, God,
if he's allowed back in, I'd just take away my vote and just give it to Jack, because he can't be allowed back in. If he's brought him back in, they can't win promotion of the year.
No.
But we're sat here like half a month before the video goes live.
I was going to say, I would... I'm not even pretend to know anything about Stardom. The only thing I watched was the Gold Rush event with the big bowl, pile of money that split a half and went everywhere and was very funny. Hee hee.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
It was a bit comedic for my liking. I like the serious Japanese women's wrestlers.
So, with what you're saying there, I would protect ourselves by putting WWE in and saying, in brackets, under Triple H.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Because, like I said, it's easy. We'll look back and just see the highlights. Obviously, it's been loads during the era, but it wasn't that enjoyable to watch because it's all out of the shop. It's like a different show with the way people act and talk. And again, make you go, hey, remember last week? And you go, yes, I do. Wow, they remembered. Bloody hell. So I enjoy watching it, even if it's not all hits. There's definitely more positives than negatives on the shows, and Raw and SmackDown. Can't speak for main event because it doesn't exist. So I have to go with WWE this year just for the improvement. And again, it's not as if AEW is the worst show that's ever been made. Obviously, there's tons of talent, and obviously there's loads of good matches. But as a weekly episodic thing, it's if you got a bunch of papers and dropped them on the floor and had to scramble to put them in order.
It's so annoying. I want AEW to be really good.
Right.
I want there to be a really good alternative.
I think everybody does, but we did the sort of like the pictures video for 2023 for each promotion yesterday, and right in the AEW one was the easiest by a mile because the issues that we don't like were more glaring than ever before in the 3 years before. So it has fallen off a bit, but hopefully it can get back on track.
Yeah.
Like the most recent Rampage to us sat here on the 14th of December was good.
I've just thought...
Best Rampage for ages.
Yeah.
You not watched it yet?
Oh, no, I've watched it.
Yeah,
I wasn't
catch
expecting you to... Because everything we say about AEW Rampage is like, well, this happened in 2 minutes.
They slowed down everything. It was nice. It was a nice hour of TV to watch. But hopefully they get better.
I've just thought, like, is this picture going to be Triple H with now 2? He's cleaned up at this award show.
2 pasties. My God, Triple H. You insane. So, well done. And promotion of the half year was infamously NXT 2.0. And you know what? I still stand by that.
So do I. In terms of just enjoying wrestling, in the first half of this year, they blew everyone else out the water.
Yeah.
I guess
That's
so.
why we voted for it.
I guess so.
Didn't we all?
Yeah.
So now that that's out the way, just the small issue of Wrestler of the Year.
The
with
Clairvoyant
2021's
Award.
Yes, exactly, yes, because 2021's Wrestler of the Year. Sheamus, the most consistent, well, one of the most consistent up there with like the Lashleys and Reigns of the promotion.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'd tune in and go, God, this is a terrible Raw. Ooh, Sheamus. And this year's done pretty much the same. So it'll be interesting to see if you've stuck with that pick or you pick someone different. Ross.
Now, I'm poking a bear here, a cocaine bear, by doing this pick because you are sat there. You are the guy who's going to make the final call. But I'm going to go for Seth Rollins.
Oh.
The match with Roman at the start of the year. The little tag team saga, run, feud, partnership, friendship, feudship with Kevin Owens. Whatever the hell that was at the start of the year. He took part in all of the big set-piece matches of the year, like the Elimination Chambers, the Money in the Banks, all that sort of stuff. Did well. Then we have what is making him Wrestler of the Year for me, the sagas against Cody and Riddle. The fight pit fell a bit fat against Riddle. Felt a bit flat against Riddle, but the rest of it was good. The good triple threat at Survivor Series as well, and then all of the stuff he's done on Raw. It feels like every time he wrestles on Raw, if it goes over 10 minutes, it's going to be a very good match that we give a solid 3.5 to 5 stars every time. He's become Mr. Dependable this year. Nice clothes also, and nice baby.
Yeah. Solid.
Oh, it's a baby that makes it. I mean, what you've said is incredibly true. The same things that we said for Sheamus is the same for Rollins, so it would be very hypocritical of myself to go no, because he's very good, and he's arguably been more charismatic than Sheamus this year. He's had a drop off because they put him against the Bloodline, and no one's winning that battle. He comes out and goes ha ha ha, and the crowd go yay, whether he's a heel, a face, or a heely facey heel. So in terms of in the ring, can't fault him, and damn. I mean, I don't personally like him, but you are right. I can't argue with the facts. So, Jack, save me.
I've been really cheeky. I've been a cheeky boy because at the half-year awards, I believe I nominated Moxley and Ross nominated Dax.
Yeah.
And I've now switched my opinion, and now I'm nominating Dax Harwood for Wrestler of the
Are you
Year.
really? Oh.
Yes, but I looked at... You know what? You know who swung this award? It was Dax himself, because he tweeted that tweet where it listed all of the good matches he'd had this year, singles and tag. And
Was
I
it
was
just
like,
all of his matches then?
well,
Has he had a bad
essentially. Well, yeah. I mean, he's had the series with the Briscoes, he's had the match with Ozzy Open, he's had the match with the Bucks, which I think
Oh yeah, that went
which
well.
I think was a good match, but the Bucks kind of weaseled out by losing on TV when they beat FTR in such a high-profile way. Maffew's getting a call.
I am. It's Dax saying you better nominate
you
me.
need
You
to-
get.
if you need to
no,
take
no.
it,
This is more
okay.
important.
No, I don't.
No, it's not, Maffew.
No, come on, Maffew.
We can
it's
hit
all
the
right.
pause button
We
if you
can.
need to.
No.
Okay.
This is the most
if you're
important
sure- if
thing
you're sure
of the
it
year.
can
Wrestling Observer. Observer who?
Zodiac what?
What PWI? Who? Never heard of you.
But he also had some cracking singles matches as well.
Yep.
And also, crucially, which I feel harsh on Cash because he's brilliant as well. But Dax is the more, I'd say, just the more comfortable promo of the two. Cash is still good, but Dax can really bring emotion into it. The stuff with his daughter was really good. And yeah. Even though I wasn't a big fan of the feud, that was one of their weaker moments of the second half of the year. But still, he's great on the mic as well. And he's, even though that they, as a team, they're more natural heels, I think that it's been nice to see them get big, massive receptions wherever they've gone this year. So I'd like to nominate both of them, but he's had good singles matches and has the edge on the mic, so I'm going to nominate Dax.
I mean, he's a very good pick for Brett Wrestler of the... beg your pardon. Best Wrestler of the Year. Excuse me. And it's actually... Yeah, it's a very... like chess master pick, because we didn't pick him for whether the other award was most underrated or whatever.
Oh, that was last year.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what did you nominate him for earlier? Was it most improved or...
No, I
for
nominated FTR for Match of the Year.
Match of the Year.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
thank you very much. So, because I'm going to have a tag team of the year, I think
Should we
do
do that
need to
next year?
put...
Should we chuck in tag team of the year
yeah.
next year?
It's, again, Rollins is good, but he's good on a roster now in WWE that has right now on Raw Lashley, Owens, the Usos when they show up. Obviously, 'cause they do a
Austin
thing.
Theory.
Yeah. There's many other people there. Dax Harwood has been a shining light. Both of them have whenever they've showed up on AEW, who have not had the consistency of a WWE in terms of proper headlines and consistent. Oh, good. So I'm going to pick, just because, again, got people talking, I guess, and that's what we need, right? Clicky, click, click, click. Is Mr. Dax Harwood. For Wrestler of the Year. The banger he had with Pac brings out my mind.
Yeah.
Especially.
Yeah.
Amongst the other ones there. The 6-mans with Punk.
Yeah,
They've been there. They've been almost like Forrest Gump. Whenever something hot's been happening, they've been in the background, just nonchalantly doing their thing and doing it very, very excellently. My pick was, and I'm very surprised no one went for it because that's why a great thing about wrestling opinions, why I think it's obvious, isn't was Moxley.
Yeah,
by far and away the best thing about AEW, and to help them, the most consistent thing about AEW.
Yeah.
What's that? Someone injured? Get Moxie. CM Punk's dogs bitten one of the books? Get John Moxley.
Allegedly.
need a great promo about anything? Get John Moxley.
Yeah.
He's been able.
Yeah.
They've gone to him and hey, we need to put over wheelie bloody Utah. We're not gonna do anything afterwards, but won't you do your best? Absolutely. Want you to fall off the ramp? Get John Moxley. So again, to me, I thought it was a really obvious pick.
I hope he takes a nice long holiday the start of
do
next
I.
year. He deserves his holiday now.
No, AW needs him every single week. They need him. So I would have said him just to show I'm able to. What's the expression? Eat your hubris or whatever. Not necessarily
Eat your
Rollins, but I had as someone to, and I hate doing it, but as someone who could have won Wrestler of the Year, and I'm just going to see your reactions as an honorable mention. Chris Jericho.
Ooh.
He could.
Last year I wanted to strangle him, and this year I'm like, bloody hell, you've
He
been
could-
great.
Yeah.
No.
He could have been most improved, weirdly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually a good show.
Yeah.
The match with Ishii, the promos with JAS, just all the other stuff he
Kingston.
did. Kingston. Him on pay-per-view, it's like, who are you? Did you just kill the other Jericho, replace yourself with him? The
Is he-
Danielson?
I think
the
it's a
Claudio?
Benjamin, but he's going to start aging backwards now. And
Yeah.
then soon we'll have, he'll go back through all of his gimmicks.
Yeah.
That'll be really good. He needs to do
Respond to
that.
criticism, got better. Bloody
God,
hell,
what health
recorded.
scare did he have this time last year? Because sign me up for that. I'll go through that if that's the result afterwards.
He went to Newcastle.
He was in England when it happened, but I forgot what it was. It was
Yeah.
very
No,
soon.
it was.
He went,
We're not laughing at it. We're just laughing at the fact he went through it and then got better
And
afterwards.
then after Newcastle. Yeah. But it
had
is.
some mushy peas and that was it. So, yes, rest of the half year as well was Mr. Dax himself.
But there was Ross's pick then, and I've
It
co-opted
was
it.
voted by the patrons because I had,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it
right.
was.
I had Harwood,
Takeshita was on there, I think.
Maffew had Belair, was it Andy had Takeshita, and was it you had
I had Moxley
yeah.
then. I've switched off him now. I've gone a bit weird with it.
The other ones I had, just honorable mention, if you want to mention any others, Sheamus, obviously, Sammy,
Yeah.
Runner-up as well, just because you were your Stardom, obviously be more preferences and more viewability there. El Hijo del Vikingo.
Oh, in AAA.
What a machine.
Yeah,
I think the
yeah.
only thing that set him back is he was injured and still was only capable of 3.5-star matches with a broken back, bloody hell. And also the fact that we just heard now he's supposed to be having his American indie tour, I think maybe the first ever, and AAA has said, yeah, those matches can't appear on your streaming services. So it's like, that really, when Pentagon did that, Pentagon Junior, apologise, that was...
Penta El Zero. Yeah.
I just want Pentagon because who knows what his name
Penta,
is now.
yeah.
Yeah, him. Good old Penty. When he did that, obviously opened a lot of doors for him.
Yeah.
But now with El Hijo, I'm not sure that's going to help. But, the one-man gift machine himself. Was there anybody else you had?
So New Japan's not had the best year, but I don't think they've had the worst one either. It feels like they're maybe getting back on track a little bit. And I think the standouts in New Japan have probably been Shingo and Ospreay and maybe Okada as well. So like the usual suspect.
Yeah.
And because I nominated Stardom for Promotion of the Year, I'll shout out Yuri for her big year-long title reign that's gone really well. And I'm sure there's more, but I can't think of any right now.
Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
That's
The
a good
catchiest
one.
theme of the year.
Yes.
Him just showing up at North to defend the Impact
Digital media.
Digital media, thank you very much. Digital media title in that little Anarchy Brewery
I
and stuff
believe
like
in him.
that. Yeah. Not because I think he's genuinely good, just to give a mention. Man like DeReese.
Man like DeReese.
Again, because I've barely watched any UK and Irish wrestling this year because it's rubbish. But man like DeReese has been one of these guys who I wish, if the lockdown hadn't happened, he'd be main eventing.
Right.
He'd be on everyone's lips. But right now, he's just, that really good bloke who's just more charisma than the entire office combined. And there's so much charisma in this office. Ooh,
Yeah.
can wrestle like no one's business. And I think he's bloody lovely.
I've thought of one as well.
Go on.
Last little one. Oh man, it's gone. Oh no! I can get it. Oh, Carmelo Hayes, the A champ.
yeah.
Oh, God, that's such a good pick as well.
Yeah.
And in
Carmelo.
turn, obviously, Andre Chase, who
No.
beat him this year. Clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While wearing slacks.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. And he beat William Regal's actual son.
Yeah. Well, there's no slacking with us. Bloody hell. So, we hope you've enjoyed the prestigious, the 4th annual, obviously. Why would you just think that? So, who are the previous wrestlers of the year been? Do we know?
Yeah.
Who was the first wrestler?
19 was
Ospreay.
Phoenix.
Oh,
Phoenix.
Sorry, not Ospreay. Phoenix.
Phoenix.
20.
21 was Sheamus. 20 was a blur.
Was that either?
It really was. I have no idea.
Was 20 either Ospreay or Nick Jackson, whichever one went out of those two.
Yeah, but I think that
Okay.
was it, yeah.
That's... Yeah.
I think it might have been Nick, but I don't know.
No, I don't think Nick won. I remember
Oh,
being
was it
just
Will?
dejected.
Right.
Yeah.
So Phoenix, maybe Ospreay. Then I think that was the year when Ospreay was in like the Super Juniors and the G1 and did everything.
Yeah, was he heavyweight champion as well? Was that the year?
Maybe it was that year as well.
Yeah.
And then last year was Sheamus, and then this year.
2020 was a blur for us all. But yes, thank you very much. I'm glad we remembered it at the end there. And obviously, we know... Oh, that's how we scroll down. Yeah, you've already started doing it. That's not a problem. Please let us know your alternative options. Who have we missed? Who's the glaring omissions? And why don't we think the same as you? That's because we are Cultaholic. You can join us... I love that. If you don't know what to say, just do that. It sounds really emphatic. You can join us and listen to us every single Friday on whatever services you listen to podcasts, or right here on YouTube, as Ross likes to say. This has been Jack. This has been Ross. This has been myself. This has been the Culties. See you next year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
It is the 30th of December today. Hootenanny.
Who knows?
Bye.